Good morning, physics class. First video after the new year, so happy new year to you as well. Hope you had a great break. I had a pretty awesome actual break. Missing some of the Christmas stuff, obviously family, but it was a great 2 weeks with my daughters, and so was happy for that. All right, let's get into our new unit. We have waves, a little less mathy. So for some of you that might be awesome. There's gonna be a little less numbers today. There's still some number stuff, but honestly, as we go forward, there'll be a little more understanding what's happening with the waves. How do they interact? So there won't be nearly as many formulas, tiny formulas to kind of go around, okay? Today there are some formulas, but small ones. But as well, it's kind of more understanding what we mean by these terms, okay? So in the live class, I talked about the basics of a wave, okay? Trough, amplitude, crest, like those are parts of a wave when we talk about a wave. I'm not going to be making a video about this here. If you missed the live class, just go to the PowerPoint in this in this week's folder. All the information is there in the PowerPoint. Obviously, these live classes will be important though because I'm going to interact with the actual material, and so yeah, it'll be important for the live classes. Okay, I'm still going to be making the YouTube videos for helpful parts though. So today we're going to go over frequency and period and what they mean and how to use them and how to calculate with them. I'll be going over more specific examples in my live class that go exactly to the practice examples that I've given in the worksheets. So the practice worksheets, I'll answer a bunch of those in the actual live class, okay? Today I'm just going to give you a basics and an understanding of what these mean. So frequency and period, these aren't actually just technically physics terms. We use these ish in kind of everyday life. So I'm guessing you've heard of frequency before, like how frequent something is. Frequency is basically just the number of times something happens over a certain amount of, over a period of time, okay? We always usually use seconds. So the formula for frequency is exactly kind of what I just said. It's going to be the number of times you do something over a certain amount of time, okay? I've got the formulas over here, and again, if you're trying to feverishly write these formulas down, please remember in my file folder, there's a little folder that says formula sheet. That formula sheet has all these formulas, and these ones will be under the waves section. So they're all there. But there's our first formula. You can see frequency is written with a funny little F, kind of like an italicized F, I guess, if you want to say. And then, yeah, there's our formula. The number of times something happens over how much time, the number of times something happens over the allotted amount of time. When we get an answer, I'm going to use examples that aren't exactly physics examples. They're not exactly word problems that you would associate with physics. I'm just going to use workout stuff, okay? Because again, this fits in with everything. Frequency is not just a physics term. So I'm going to say Miss Westwood did 12 push-ups in 18 seconds, okay? So if I want to find the frequency of that, let's go through that. And then I'm going to try and have you understand what does that actual number at the end mean. So if I do 12 push-ups in 18 seconds, okay, I get an answer of 0.66, and frequency is hertz, okay, Hz, okay, so hertz, it's always measured in, or the unit at the end is hertz. All right, so that's going to be 0.66. Now, what does that number mean? Sure, it's a frequency, but again, hopefully this means something. So what frequency means, it basically tells you how often, how many times you did something in a second. Okay, for us, we're always going to try and use seconds. So this tells you how many times I did a push-up in a second. I did 0.66, so I didn't technically get all the way to 1. And that kind of makes sense. I did 12 in 18 seconds, so there's more time than push-ups. So I did basically 2/3 of push-up every second. And that's what frequency actually means. I'm just going to move this over. I want a little more space on my period side over there. But again, 12 divided by 18 equals 0.66, and then hertz. Okay? So that's what frequency is going to tell you. It's going to tell you how many times you did something in 1 second. Period is the opposite. Okay? It's kind of like the, it's the opposite. It's the switched way of doing this. Okay? So we're going to think of what period means. If we think of, well, where we thought of or heard of period, I know it's a little dot at the end of the sentence, but also for school, we think of a period as one class. How long is a period? Well, a period for us here is 65 minutes. In a usual year, it's 50 minutes this year. But, so how would we get that? Well, we're going to kind of flip these, okay? We're going to go our time over the number of times that actual event happened, okay? So for us, if we were to say, well, 65 minutes is 1 period, 65 divided by 1? Well, that's 65. Okay, if I were to say like, well, the school day is like 325 minutes, and there's 5 periods, well, 325 divided by 5, okay, that's 65 minutes. That still kind of works, okay? So what period is going to tell us is, it's going to tell us how long did it take us to do how long did it take us to do one thing. So let's do the push-up example again, but I'm going to have to actually, I'm going to have to switch the actual numbers around here. So I did still 12 push-ups in 18 seconds, but time's going to go on top. So 18 seconds divided by 12 is equals 1.5. Okay, and then seconds. Okay, our period is going to be measured in seconds. There's a big kind of glare right there, I'm sorry. I'll make this bigger, 1.5 seconds. All right, so basically I was able to do 1 push-up every 1.5 seconds. And that's what our period is actually going to try and tell us. It's going to tell us how long did it take you to do one actual event. All right, let's do one more example. I'm going to say like I did jumps, just hopping, okay? So if I say I did 6 jumps in 5 seconds, 6 jumps, 5 seconds. So I'm going to say I did 6 jumps in 5 seconds. Basically, again, this is going to give us maybe, well, one. I should probably find the answer to this one. Find the answer to the first one, not this one. All right. 6 divided by 5. 1.2. So 1.2 hertz. Again, for frequency, that tells me that I did like 1.2 jumps every second. Okay? So I did 1.2 jumps every second, which is pretty awesome. Okay? I was able to do over a jump a second. For period, like how long did it take me to do 1 jump? Well, this one's going to be under 0 because I was able to do more jumps, like 6 in 5 seconds. For every time I did a jump, it was less than a second. So it should be under 0 here. So if I go 5 divided by 6, okay, which is going to be like 0.8 something. 5 divided by 6, yeah, 0.833, repeating on forever. 0.83 repeating seconds. So that's going to tell me that I did like 1 jump every 0.83 seconds, okay? So this is our little intro to frequency and period. It is kind of important to remember like what this actually means. Like frequency tells you, again, how many times you did something in 1 second. Where period is kind of the opposite. It's going to ask us, well, how long did it take you to do one actual thing, okay? So like I said at the start, like yes, there are some numbers here, but the understanding of what these means is going to be just as important for our waves, okay? Because when I ask you for the frequency of a wave, or if I ask you for the frequency of an oscillation, which is just like either a circular pattern or an up and down pattern, it's going to be important to know kind of what that frequency means or what that period means, okay? We got 2 more little helpful videos for this week coming up. Thanks, class. I'll see you soon.